Good day, people. It's been a little while, but being led to give this short video. It's going to be short. Lots of stuff going on in the world, that's for sure. A lot of deception. I keep hearing about so many deceptions like Satan's Little Season and the Torah movement and Torah keepers, Hebrew roots, and just so many last days deceptions. And I pray that everyone would stay vigilant, stay in the Word, stay with the truth. Don't fall for these false doctrines, false things. So kind of led me to this Matthew 25, the parable of the virgins. And you hear so often it being applied to the church. And I just looking at it, the fact that it's Matthew, and many of us have been led to the point where we understand that the Gospels are written to different groups. My understanding is Matthew is written to the Jews, and Mark is written to the Left Behind church, and Luke is written to the bride. Now there's debate whether it's the bride of Christ, whether it's the Jewish bride, but I kind of lean towards the bride of Christ. And well, I do lean towards the bride of Christ. And John, my understanding, is written to the 144,000. A lot of people say it's written to the world, but I say it's written to the 144,000. Okay, so dealing with Matthew and this parable of the virgins, it's written to the Jews. So therefore it has Jewish wedding concepts. So why are we constantly putting the church in there and applying a Jewish wedding concept to ourselves, the church, in the age of grace? And what comes to mind too is a type and shadow, I believe, is Rebecca. Rebecca is Isaac's wife, and there's no Jewish wedding whatsoever. It's just took her to his mother's tent and they consummated the marriage. There was no concept of what we see with the Galilean wedding. So I wonder if that's a type and shadow of the Gentile age of grace bride in that sense. So yes, this is what I've been led to, is why are we heading in that direction, applying this whole Jewish wedding concept to ourselves? Are there things that we can glean from it and grow, and the concept of being ready and being in the Word and things of that nature? Sure. But this is for the Jews. And I think a lot of the confusion comes in because there are multiple brides. I do believe there's a bride for the Son, the Father, the Holy Spirit. Others have been led to this. I in particular think of Sherry, a Jesus child. So I think sometimes we get confused between which bride and what the situation is. And so these 10 virgins, it's kind of interesting that there weren't 12. If this is Matthew, you would think it would be speaking to the 12 tribes. So therefore there would be 12 virgins, but there's not, there's 10. And that always struck me because, you could do 5 wise and 5 foolish, or you could do 6 wise and 6 foolish. But I'm thinking these are the 10 tribes of Israel, the northern tribes. I think that's what this is pointing to. And I have to flesh these things out yet. There's more to come. There's more to learn. But at this point, feeling led to just bring this aspect forward. In this parable, there's no mention of the bride. There's a mention of the groom. There's a mention of virgins, but there's no mention of the bride. And I think that it's because this bride is hidden. And in this particular case, this bride is the bride of Christ. So the bride who is about to leave. And I know people debate me on this one, and that's okay. We're allowed. I believe she leaves and enters her rest. Now, others believe that She works the harvest, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think she enters her rest, and the 144,000 are the ones who work the harvest. But anyway, the bride of Christ, the hidden ones, they leave, and then God deals with Israel. So we're looking at, in Matthew 25, not the church, this is Israel. So then I was looking at Zechariah 14. And like I said, I'm working through these things. Don't have a full understanding, of course, because you get half of the city will go into captivity, just half, which is interesting because that kind of lines up with half of the virgins, okay? But the rest, I'm not talking about entering your rest, this is the rest of them, is Hebrew 3:4-9-9, which is the remainder, the remnant of the people. Okay, so half go into captivity, but the remainder, the remnant of the people, will not be removed. And that's Hebrew 3:7-7-2, to cut off, to take away. Okay, so half are not taken away, and half are taken away. Which brings up the whole concept of one will be taken, one will be left, that sort of thing, which is another study, because there are differences in Matthew and Luke and John, that sort of thing with respect to that too. Zechariah 14 is very clear. This is the day of the Lord. So what we're seeing here is just before going into the millennial kingdom. And once again, we get half of the Mount of Olives goes, I believe, north and east. Yes, split in two from east to west, forming a great valley, with half of the mountain moving north and half moving south. Okay, I was correct about that. So interesting. Once again, it's half. I wonder if it's all tied together. Okay, and the millennial kingdom begins. This is my understanding, the kingdom of heaven on earth. Okay, so these are just things I've been mulling over and trying to study. I do want to get into one taken, one left. And a lot of people will use that and say, see, the one taken is not the ones that are saved. They're the ones taken, like in the flood of Noah. They were taken. Well, it depends on when you're talking. If you're talking about in Matthew, if you're talking about in Luke, and taken in Luke, and then in John when he says, how does he word it? Jesus says, he's describing, returning, receive you unto myself. When I receive you, it's the same word, paralambano, taken as one who is familial. Okay, there's familiarity. It's not a bad taken. So there's a difference there. So I'll flesh those out and hopefully do another video a little sooner. But anyway, this is what I feel led to bring forth. And if there's anybody that sees this and wants to discuss it, and we can get into it. All right, have a blessed day.